Anyone who has ever worked customer-facing retail or dealt with customer service will be familiar with the motto, "The customer is always right." This customer-centric mindset has been widely adopted in modern retailing, but how effective is it? Well, let's start from the beginning. The customer is always right motto was popularized in the early 1900s by Harry Gordon Selfridge, John Wanamaker, and Marshall Field. These successful retail owners understood that the success of their stores were closely tied to customer satisfaction. The customer holds a lot of power in deciding where they shop and whether they will go back, so they prefer to agree with customers whether right or wrong and risk occasional losses rather than gain a bad service reputation. This marked the shift to customer-centric retailing worldwide, and it evolved over time. So if the customer is always right motto improves customer service, it should be adopted, right? Well, not exactly. Despite the motto becoming a standard in modern retailing, the motto is outdated and has a negative impact on retailers and retail workers. It can demotivate customer-facing workers, give a false sense of entitlement and unchecked power to unreasonable customers, and create a slippery slope of retail responsibility. Imagine you're a customer-facing worker. You're subjected to constant demands and corrections from customers, but management gives you little to no support, always siding with the customer. This would most likely demotivate you, resulting in you providing worst customer service. Well, this scenario is quite common, as according to the National Retail Association in 2021, 88% of employees experienced verbal abuse, 15% experienced physical customer violence, and 11% experienced sexual harassment or abuse. Much of this abuse remains unaddressed by management to satisfy customers. This creates an organizational culture, a firm set of values, traditions, customs that guide employees' behavior that devalues customer-facing employees, thus demotivating them. This can also result in high employee turnover, lowering sales as inexperienced employees may lack certain skills, and increasing costs due to recruitment and training costs. When customers walk in knowing they are always right, it gives them a false sense of entitlement and unchecked power, especially unreasonable customers who become perpetually unsatisfied. The entitled customers end up receiving more attention and personalized service compared to nicer customers because they keep on complaining. Since it is impossible to please everybody, when unreasonable and perpetually unsatisfied customers make the job more difficult for employees and divert attention away from other customers, it is important to narrowly define your target market so that you can effectively sell to the customers with the most potential for sales. Not all customers are worth keeping, so trying to satisfy rude and stubborn customers results in a loss of time and resources. When the customer is always right, the retailer is always wrong. This creates a slippery slope of retail responsibility. Sometimes customers are wrong, and always agreeing with them can cause them and others to start taking advantage of the business by increasing their demands. There has to be a limit to what the business will provide customers to gain brand or store loyalty until it begins to have diminishing returns, and especially when customers complain about subjective aspects of the product or service. So as you can see, the customer is always right motto is outdated and has negative impacts on retailers and retail workers.